Nested in the heart of Zambia's Copperbelt province, the Copperbelt University was established in 1987 to provide higher education that would shape the future of this nation. From inception with just 500 students, the university has grown to over 17,000 students in 2024, offering a diverse range of undergraduate and postgraduate programs. But this growth has come with challenges that threaten to undermine the very foundation of quality education. Now, in a bold step forward, CBU has introduced the CBU Challenge, a fundraising initiative aimed at raising 30 million kwacha. These funds will be used to revitalize infrastructure, purchase modern laboratory equipment, and create spaces that foster innovation, creativity, and recreation for all.
Calling upon all our partners, alumni, corporate bodies to partner with us and modernize our facilities at Copperbelt University.
Imagine a future where CBU stands stronger than ever. A university equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, where students and researchers can thrive, and where Zambia's next generation of leaders is nurtured in an environment built for success. Join us in this journey of transformation. Together, we can raise the 30 million kwacha needed to make Copperbelt University a true center of excellence. Together, we can build the future. The Copperbelt University, knowledge and service.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Change Your Perspective podcast. So, my name is Mwale, the big ones, popularly known as Big Ones, of course. And now I know you can see who I'm with. I'm with someone who's very, to me, it is what I'd say inspirational. You know, we got in contact I think some time back, yeah, and then from then onwards we've just been trying to set this up. And from what I've seen, you are someone who's out there, who's driven. So ladies and gentlemen, without wasting too much time, I'm with someone whose name says it all. I'm with the dream chaser himself, Mr. Daniel Mwale.
Oh yes.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Apologies for the appearance. I was actually in a suit.
Yeah.
Full suit, but then the heat.
I know it is hot. Lusaka is hot.
Lusaka is very hot. So I said, no, let me tone down.
Yeah.
Because this is a hot seat, I am told. So because it's a hot seat, I can't also be in a suit. Otherwise it will be too much heat. But thanks so much for having me. I've been wanting to be here for a while.
Yeah, thank you so much actually. So ladies and gentlemen, you know what goes on the Change Your Perspective podcast. We're here just to flip something in you. We're here to have conversations that matter. Conversations that will allow for you to change your perspective on life, on politics, on relationships. Everything generally that an individual is composed of, we are here to do that. So let's get into the conversation. I introduced you as the dream chaser. Dream chaser, we hear it everywhere. DC, dream chaser.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to have that as your name?
To be honest, I think dream chaser is a name that comes after the fact and not before the fact.
Okay.
So initially, there is a story that I can tell as to how Dream Chaser came about, but I'm going to be honest. Some time back I was doing t-shirts, and the t-shirts were called Dream Chaser t-shirts. There was a friend of mine, shout out to Chandra Brian, he was doing No Fake Friends at the time, and so I started doing Dream Chaser t-shirts. Actually, slightly before I was doing Dream Chaser t-shirts, when I saw how big he was sort of becoming, then I decided, let me also try to jump on the bandwagon. At the time, I just came back into Zambia and from Namibia, from SADC assignments. And I said, I need to do something that's going to give me money. So I decided to sell them t-shirts because I saw someone that was doing it at the time. Then I thought of my life story and I said, well, I think looking at my personality and looking at what I managed to do so far, one thing I'll go with is Dream Chaser. So Dream Chaser was really just the brand of the t-shirts. So the t-shirts were called Dream Chaser, and I had different types of t-shirts. So Dare to Dream, Dream Comes True, and several other Dream Chaser t-shirts. So now I was known because of the t-shirt brand, Dream Chaser.
Okay.
So later on, when I decided that I wanted to do something a bit relevant, then I decided to formally now go within Dream Chaser.
Okay.
So that's where it's coming from. However, it's now gotten to a point where it has become my identity. So Dream Chaser is who I am. It's not what I do. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I say it's before the fact, I mean like before Dream Chaser became Dream Chaser as it's known today.
Yeah.
There was Dream Chaser as just something that I was doing to sell t-shirts and whatnot. So later on, I came to realize that there's a lot of young people who, when they're young, when they're children, for lack of better terms, have wanted to do so much in life. But you meet them in adulthood and they'll say, look, I always dreamt of this, but I am that.
Yeah,
so it seemingly becomes a situation where it seems like dreams, especially in the land of Zambia, are a bit far-fetched.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. You know, to double down on that, I was having a conversation with one of my parents, and then she told me, she says, you know what, one of my biggest mistakes was getting to the workforce, because it trapped me, because I didn't have any time to do what I wanted to do. It trapped her from doing her dreams, from chasing her dreams.
Yeah.
And you know, I like the fact that you made mention to the fact that in Zambia, dreams seem far-fetched because of I don't want to put a blame on the people that came before us, but that's the norm that they had for them. For them, you know, when you interpret a dream, when I think about the name Dream Chaser, or what Dream Chaser means, for me it is more of trying to be in line with who you're meant to be. You get it? Back in the day, they were forced to do certain things because the country needed the workforce. Think of it, when Zambia just gained its independence, we had everything, but we had no workforce. So what started happening is that instead of people chasing their dreams, they started to manufacture people for the workforce.
Oh yes.
You get it? So at that point, that was what trickled down even to our generation now, that people we're just manufacturing people for the workforce, and people are getting that they are not being told to chase their dreams. So the fact that you are out here and publicly portraying the fact that it's possible to chase dreams, I think it's a good thing for you.
Oh yes, and that's actually exactly where I was headed to, and that's exactly where Dream Chaser now becomes Dream Chaser as it is known today. So because I saw that, I then said, look, we need to have a space where we show young dreamers that dreams come true. We keep the big dreams of the young dreamers alive. And that's how Dream Chaser then became Dream Chaser as a brand as it is known today. Because I said there's so much I want to do with life, and I decided to chase every single thing that I wanted to do with life. Today, a lot of people ask me to say, what's the aim? Where do you want to reach? And I give them an answer that I don't expect. I say, look, I think I'm already where I wanted to be. And that's why I'm now running with the tagline, Dream Chaser. Dream Chaser does not necessarily mean or entail that I am chasing my dreams, but it's showing that from whatever I was, I have managed to become whatever I wanted to be. So I'm trying to show everyone around that you can possibly and practically pursue your dreams, and they can come true. When I was young, for instance, I wanted to travel a lot. I was someone that really wanted to travel. I love traveling. And now I can sit, having traveled around all 10 provinces, a number of districts in Zambia, but more than that, the other time I sat down to count stamps on my passport, and I found that there were 17 of them. It shows that I've crossed a few borders, a few continents. And if I told you that all these travels that I tried to do was really just me pushing, in terms of no one necessarily paid for me. When you talk about family or whatnot, it was mainly just opportunities I saw and I decided to go with. And it's true to a number of other things that I have tried to do. So I've said, look, the only thing that I have seen in what's lacking or what's missing is that we have dreamers that feel when they grow older that their dreams are far-fetched because they are hit with what they believe is reality. But then reality then just becomes a product of perception, and perception a product of mindset. So then when we backtrack to say if youths can have the right mindset and perceive things as endless possibilities, then the product of unrealistic things becomes realistic limitations only by your mind. So how much more do you want to limit your mind? You just go and chase for it, and that's Dream Chaser.
Wow. You know, you touched on something that's very important. You know, obviously there are those who are watching our podcast and they're wondering, like, or this man is here and he's talking about all these certain things. Maybe this man is privileged. You get it? So I want us to take it back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, whether you came from wealth, whether you came from a family that is well-to-do, or you know that was struggling here and there. Just let the people know so they believe to say, okay, this man is talking from a point of he's lived through the other side of life and now he's chasing his dreams and he is who he says he is.
Okay, that's very interesting. Well, I come from I would say a humble family.
Yeah.
I come from a family that's all right. My mother is still alive now. She is a literature evangelist.
Okay.
So what that means is that she sells books, faith-based books for a living.
Yeah.
And you know, nowadays we in the world of soft copies, hard
Yeah.
copy books and selling everything.
It's become a challenge.
My dad has been doing business basically all his life, but not business as many people know business as it may be. I was at Mukuba.
Okay.
Mukuba is a government school on the Copper Belt, Kitwe. And one thing led to another, and I found myself in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
From the United Kingdom, I then came back here in Zambia. So from the UK, I came back in Zambia.
Yes.
I was in Lusaka. Shortly, I was in Namibia, then back to Lusaka. And I had the situation where now I lost everything. I lost everything that I ever tried to do, all the money I'd made, and I was in a lot of debt.
Yeah.
So I had to go back in the drawing board. I remember I had to then stay with my grandmother.
Yeah.
3 weeks into staying with my grandmother, I moved out and tried to start life afresh after losing everything. And there was a point then I had to now stay with a friend of mine. This friend of mine, Kapalu, shout out to Kapalu, were in a farm setting, and I was squatting at his house. And from there, I moved to wherever. I was in Bowden, then in New Kasama, then New Kasama 4 houses next to the president, and now I'm doing a 7-bedroom house. So it's a journey that, yes, I'm doing a 7-bedroom house. So it's a journey that started from a background of humbleness. Then it had its ups and downs, has always had its ups and downs. And at least now I'm at a point where I can comfortably say that we are trying to figure out life. So that's a bit about my background. I haven't spent too much time talking about my upbringing because it was really just a normal upbringing. You know, when someone is in a government school, I don't want to exaggerate anything. It was a normal life for the Zambian citizen.
I love the fact that you brought out the fact that you lived a normal life growing up. You know, there's this stereotype to say chasing dreams is only for people who come from the slums. You know, if you come from, like, let's say privileged or something, you're not supposed to chase dreams because everything is there for you. So I want us to double down a little bit on that. What do you think about the mindset around the fact that people think that only people who come from the slums are supposed to chase their dreams? Why not the president's son chasing his dreams? Why not, you know, the minister's son chasing his dreams? Let's talk about that.
All right, so the thing about dreams and chasing your dreams, it's a question of what then is the dream. I think the thing about people thinking many people that are coming from such places are the ones that chase their dreams is the perspective that most people from such places tell their stories a bit more than people that are from points of privilege. I have sat down with a lot of people in privileged positions and they will tell you to say, look, I'm from a rich background, but people don't know how much pressure that then puts on me not to fail. Because then you have a silver platter. And every other parent or every other person wants the people that are coming behind them to do better. So they also have huge responsibilities. They're looking at family legacies. They're looking at things that maybe someone from a poor background cannot otherwise comprehend because they do not see, as it may be. However, I think that notion comes because a lot of people from poor backgrounds, quote-unquote poor backgrounds, tell their story a bit more. And I think when it comes to chasing dreams, it's an issue of the story. Like, my story is I came from point A, I'm at points B, C, D, E. But then someone who's from privilege, very few of them are going to tell you their story. But when you come to sit to those people, you realize that they also have a story. They also have perspectives that someone who came from nothing cannot see. Because having much or having nothing or having just something in between all come with their own hindrances, all come with their own successes, all come with different aspects and whatnot. But for me, I'm going to say that every story then is valid. You do not have to come from little, you do not have to come from much, you do not have to come from anything in order for you to then chase your dreams. The only difference is maybe someone who's from a poor background has got a dream of going into town, you know, or of making it as a career person, or of making it big, an entrepreneur, or everything like that. And then someone who's from much, you know, maybe dreams differently. They have a dream of growing the empire. They have a dream of just living a luxurious life, but they are all dreams. I just think the dreams of the poor people resonate more and well with Zambians, because that's where the majority of us fall in. But in terms of chasing your dream, whatever angle you're at, you can chase your dream. I will say this though, the background and the environment you come from does play a role. It plays a role, especially when it comes to perception. There was a point in my life that I went to the UK, like I mentioned, and I went to a school there, and it was a secondary school, a high school. And you know, when I went to that high school, firstly, I think there was no black in that community. Not African, but there was no black, right? And then everything is new to you, and everyone is new to you. And it was a point where then I realized that if I was in Zambia all my life, I would have never seen how far the world can go. Because for me, I would look at it from, okay, they are the rich. Then I went there and I saw the rich and the poor. And then there is the rich.
I'll tell you a story of, like, in 2019, I had the privilege also of traveling. We had gone to China for some competition. And Mr. Daniel, when I tell you that when I arrived in China, it opened my eyes to the possibilities of what can be, you know, because many times, and it's the case for most Zambians, their minds are blocked by the borders of Zambia. You get it, huh? Someone from, let's say, the southern province has a dream of coming to Lusaka. You know what I mean? So it's like your mind is bounded just by the borders of Zambia. But when I had the privilege of going out there, it showed me to say there is more to the world. And then even your perspective on what you can do and what you can achieve as a person changes. So I get you on that point, you know. That's
interesting.
It really is, you know. It really is. So now, Mr. Daniel, there are so many things that you've touched on, and it's obvious that people have caught on the fact that you're a person who does so many things. So let us dive a little bit into that. What are some of those things that you are doing as Mr. Dream Chaser?
All right. So for me, primarily, it goes back to the primary cause of Dream Chaser, as it may be, which is to help big dreamers achieve their big dreams. So myself, I do not necessarily like small things, because, like I said, the perspective of my reality was always changing. You know, I've stayed in the farm, I've stayed in a compound, I've stayed in so many different places, and it's made me see that life has got endless possibilities, so many endless possibilities. I asked one mentee of mine to say what is life, and he told me life is what you think it is. And that made me realize that life for every person is different. Life to every person is different. So for me, what I do really, it comes from that background of I am a dream chaser. So I try to ensure that big dreams then are kept alive. And I had to mention that because then it will make sense as to why I do what I do or what I do. I've got student businesses. I've got student businesses across 9 universities. I think I can safely say I'm probably the biggest student business person in terms of capacity, yes, because we've got 162 agents across 9 universities, and we've got staff of 12 permanent workers, as it may be. So we do a number of things. We do printing services across universities. We do mobile money, rapid services across universities. We do loans across universities. And then strategically partner with students. So if a student has got a business or business idea, and they need the funding or they need to expand, we come in, we provide the capital, get equity, and run that business together until it grows to a certain stage. We do general groceries as well. We do clothes. With student businesses, we basically do everything and anything that we can place our hands on. For student businesses, it's a game of numbers. So we do student businesses, yes, and then I also do real estate. So in real estate, I acquire small pieces of land that I then develop into small shops, and then I rent out those small shops in different community areas. So it's real estate, but not at the scale, at a large scale of buying big pieces of land, not just the small bits. And recently is when I decided that I'm going to try and do boarding houses. So I'm trying to do the first one. It's going to be a 7-bedroom boarding house, which we're trying to
Where is
do.
it located though?
It's located in Lusaka, in Nyokasama, next to the University of Lusaka Law Campus.
Okay.
Yeah, so in real estate, but mainly for real estate, we focus on acquisition of small components of land, especially in townships, and then do either shopping units or whatever, and we're able to then rent them out. And then more recently, we are also acquiring land in areas that we feel have potential, and then converting that land and selling. But anyway, it's real estate, as it may be. Yes, and then I have a music school, third floor music school, which has got a band. Third floor. Yes, third floor, which has got a band and which has got equipment, so music equipment, speakers, and the like that we then hire out. And we also teach people how to do music and all that stuff. But the major thing I do is business development. So I've got a business development company which is called Dream Chaser Innovations. So the student business is Excel Student Business Initiatives, and I should mention now on this very important podcast that our plan is to revolutionize the student businesses and also foster mindset change. So I've noticed, like, for example, there's a lot of things that are happening in student politics. There's a lot of things that are happening with how students are perceiving. So I thought, just like the way we have businesses in the corporate world that are then sponsoring these quote-unquote politicians, I have seen a lot of that biasness even in the universities. So we want to have a point where we create something that students can stand on their own footing and play our own small role in the bigger picture of curbing certain elements such as corruption, getting people empowered and whatnot. So this year we are expanding mainly in the student business initiatives. We want to reach every major university. We want to ensure that the fund grows around students. But my major business is business development. So I've got a business development company that's Dream Chaser Innovations, and that's what really gives me food on my table.
Well, that is amazing. You know, you're a man of such wide spectrum, you know. So there's obviously that person who's heard you and said, wow, this person is doing so many things. But I think, you know, if you're running a business, you have to focus on that one thing, because it's clear to everyone now that you're multi-faced, you know, you're multi-dimensional, doing so many things. So there's that other person out there who say, no, me, I think for you to grow, for you to, you know, keep going up, you have to focus on one thing and not, you know, do so many things as you're doing. What would you say to that?
I'm going to say 4 things, right? So the first thing is I started answering that question by talking about what my aim is. I say, look, for me, it's about dreams. The bigger the dreams, the bigger the challenge, the more I can apply myself. So for me, when it comes to business and life in itself, Dream Chaser is more than just what my company is registered at or what people know me as. Dream Chaser is my identity. It's who I am. And so everything that I do sort of culminates into that. My mentor told me this. He said, before starting a business, the first question you should ask yourself is, what is my purpose? Because that then should lead you to what direction you'll go in terms of business. So the first thing that I'm going to say is you have to know yourself, know your identity, know your purpose. You know, if not your purpose, at least just know your identity, know your strengths, know sort of how to work around things. Because if you know who you are, you know how your brain operates, that should then tell you as to what line of business you should go in. Actually, let me even correct myself. I've been saying business. I'm not really a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. Most people then ask, what's the difference? The difference is entrepreneurship has to do with starting and growing a business. Business has to do with sales. That's the difference between entrepreneurship and business. For me, I am not good at business. The issue of selling and I'm not good.
I understand.
I'm not good at that. I can start up something, I can try to grow it, but just day-to-day routines and business, I'm not really good at that. So I'm an entrepreneur, firstly. I've identified myself as an entrepreneur. So I need people then to run the business. So for me, I said, look, how do we start up? How do we expand? But there's only so much capacity then as a person that you can have to keep on starting and expanding stuff. Which is why now I'm into business development. I'm a business development expert. So what do? I help other people expand. So for instance, if you have businesses in Lusaka and you want to operate on the Copper Belt, in Muchinga province and whatnot, then you hire my team and we're going to help you expand to those ends. And that's what I do. Now the thing with entrepreneurship, business development and expansion is that you always see opportunities, right? And so for me, what I do is not necessarily a lot to the extent of away from who I am. The way my mind works is it's always thinking expansion. So instead of that expansion going to work, I decided that expansion should be a business. So when I sit down and say I'm doing Excel student business solution, my role in that is, I'm not a sole trader. My role in that is to plan, to ensure that there is probably money to get that going, and then to leave people to run that as it may be. So for people who think that way, the first thing I'll say is you have to know yourself. Not everyone is meant to do everything, but also not everyone is meant to do one thing. There are people who you're failing because you're doing one thing. You know what I mean? Your mind is not caged, and you're trying to cage yourself in that one thing. So it's about identity. You know yourself, and then secondly, you have to be realistic, right? By being realistic, I'll say this one business that I am doing. Is it something that is keeping me well, right? Even not keeping me well, is it something that is secure? Is it something that is safe? If it is something that's secure and safe at that moment, then you think of what am I using it for? Is it for my livelihood? Is it for my family's livelihood? You ask yourself those realistic questions. If then you calculate, there's what they call the opportunity cost. This is the cost of taking up one opportunity over the other. So if then you see that you're secure where you are with that opportunity and expansion might ruin everything, then you calculate to say, if I decide to expand, will it be worth losing everything if my business crashes? So you have those realistic questions with yourself. For example, if you're using for your livelihood or in school, then what's your priority at that time is probably school. So should you then decide to gamble with your business using your school? I don't think so. So I'd rather you stick to where you are until you can get to a point where you can take those risks. That's firstly. But then secondly, also, a lot of people, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Others say you put all of them in one basket and then carefully handle the basket. For me, I don't necessarily subscribe to a straight line ideology, because my little life has taught me that life is different and has got so many perspectives. There's no one secret to success, which is why I say it just comes to, you know yourself, you know your strengths, you know how you can handle about those things. So then you look at your mind, you look at reality. Why be better off expanding? Why be better off staying in one place? But if you decide to focus on what you have obtained, you might miss firstly what's around you, what's behind you, what's beneath you, what's above you, what's forward. So even as you are focusing on what you think is the way to go, pay particular attention to everything else, because you might find that you're trapping yourself in expansion when you'll be better off doing one thing, or you're trapping yourself in one thing when you'll be better off expanding, as it may be. So such people in such mindsets, the only thing I'll say is whatever mindset you have should not be rigid, because the world itself is not rigid. So if you decide to look at things a certain way, you're missing the other side of the coin, which the other person says. Because the one kwacha, someone will see it as something to buy, you know, water a drip. Another person will see it as something to play pool with. Another person will see something to throw in the water and make a wish. Another person jiggies, another person to give the child. It's got so many different possibilities. But if it's your one kwacha, if you decide this one kwacha, I will always be buying water with it, you might die of hunger even when you're filled with water. So yeah, I would always just encourage such people to tap into ideologies of other and see whether what they are doing is the way to go or not, but carefully also calculate your opportunity costs, and away and beyond calculating your opportunity cost, ask yourself what is your identity. Finally, I will mention that for me, I don't do stuff because I've seen opportunities alone. For me to find myself in all these many things is simply because I have stayed true to who I am. So I know to say I've got a very busy mind. Because I've got a busy mind, I'm not going to sit down at the shop and sell 24/7. That's not me. So I focus my mind on expansion. I focus my mind on on one or two things. So it may seem like I am multifaceted, which I am, but in my multi-facility is where my focus is.
Wow. In your multi-facility is where your focus is. I like that. I like that. But I'm sure someone has picked up on that, you know. I want us to talk about one thing though. It seems to me you're someone who's not scared. You know, you strike me as someone who's like the more so you're not scared. You know what I mean? You're able to go after things and chase them with all you have. You get it, and there's many young people in Zambia are trapped in the fact that there is a set destiny for them. Like there's one thing they're supposed to do, and that stops them from trying other things. You get it? So I want us to talk about the importance of just trying things, even when you're not sure about the outcome. Yeah, I want us to double down on that.
Okay, that's very interesting. So I think, there was a time I used to fear two things: going mad, pena, and death. Yeah, those are the two things I used to fear. And through one point in my life, I'm one place, and the next point I'm waking up in the hospital and I'm being told about how an ambulance drove me from where I was to the hospital. And yes, so then eventually after some time, when I was able to have access to my phone, I saw a lot of messages, and at this time I was in school, and people knew me in school. So people had posted in the groups, no, this person, I found lecturers had been calling, whatever, and then I thought to myself, if I did die this day, would I have been happy with the life I lived? And I genuinely after then, I really haven't feared death, because of I went to heaven, I did what for me, to be honest with you, it was black, and then I opened my eyes. In the hospital. In the hospital. What happened in between? I don't know. The ambulance and all those things, I don't know. So that told me to say, you know what? I shouldn't fear death or going mad, where I lose my consciousness. The only thing that I should fear is not creating the impact that I am supposed to on this earth while I'm alive. I believe in two things. Firstly, I believe that if you're alive for a reason. There's a purpose, right? Secondly, I believe that you can either die when it's your time, quote unquote, meaning you have fulfilled your purpose, or you die regardless when it's your time, because you've missed the opportunity for fulfilling your purpose. So for example, if I'm existing in the time that Zambia has load shedding, and I'm the one that the Lord wants to end that load shedding, if then the time frame that I'm supposed to do it passes, and I haven't ended the load shedding, I'll still die regardless. But then what was the whole point of living? So that's the thing. If we don't try because of fear, I like calling it fear of the unknown. If we don't, or of the known, regardless, then we are going to restrict ourselves from ever doing it, right? We're going to restrict ourselves from ever doing it. So the importance of trying is this. I hope we're going to talk about purpose, but I'm still going to touch on that even now, right? The importance of trying is this. Someone told me that time. So there's this man, he told me, I was asking a lot of questions, but I like asking questions. I said, how do I discover my purpose? How do I know where I'm going, ABC? Then he told me to say, no one knows the future. And he said, so you won't know where you're meant to be. He said, so true. So he said, just concentrate on your seed. I said, what's your seed? What's the seed? Then he said, you know, the mango, the seed, when it's underground, it sees and knows nothing, that you should just concentrate on the germination. So he says that mango doesn't know that it will be a fruit, but if it trusts the process, it's eventually going to become a fruit. Then he said, if you open your eyes too much to the possibilities of the perspective that you have seen, you might miss everything that you cannot see. You'll miss an opportunity to live in your growth now, because you're thinking of your growth then, or you're thinking of your lack of growth before. So he said, don't concentrate too much on the future or on what might not happen or what will happen. He said, just concentrate on who you are and do what you need to do, and A, B, C, D, F, G. So when he said that narrative, I said, you know what, that sounds a bit a bit true, a bit convincing. And then I said, no, but what if I know for a fact? For instance, I'll give an example of a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
What if I know that if I leave this man, he's going to beat me? And then, you know, then it comes down again to the narrative of dogs.
Yeah.
They say you don't end your fear of dogs by running away.
Yeah.
So can the dog bite you? Yes. It's a very realistic possibility. But then if you're going to be in the house fearing the dog biting you, you're never going to live. So for me, I would rather go out of the house. Your reasons and excuses may be valid, but let the dog bite you so that you can go to the hospital. That way you'll leave the house. Otherwise, you will heal and you'll move on. You might then learn something, you might not learn something, but the fact is that you will move.
Yeah.
And in life, we are always supposed to be moving. If you do not try, you do not move. Because time is moving. I always say time is an illusion. It's neither here nor there. It's nowhere. Even by the time I finish saying this sentence that I'm currently saying, it would be the past. So time is not there, right? So if every second is an opportunity that passes, and if we then decide not to try, we are not moving with time. We are staying in the past.
Yeah.
So is the reasoning of where they think, or where you think you want to be, or what you have seen, is it valid? Yes, 100%. Is the fear real? Yes, 100%. But does life care? Of course not. Life is going to be life, and it's going to keep on moving. So now, what then is the importance of trying things? The importance is this: we do not know the future. We do not know what will become of what we try. So why should we try? Because it increases the possibilities of something to become. Yeah.
Ish. You know what? I think I even needed this. I needed this conversation because I'm not the one who's been changed. You know, it's amazing. I'm sure the viewers are actually enjoying this conversation. So now let's move on. You know, with our conversation.
Yeah.
Of course, you've talked of all these things you are doing. So tell us, as a dream chaser, do you have any dream right now? Right now, that you actually want to achieve?
Yes. I have my dream now, my dream yesterday, my dream tomorrow is always going to be the same. My dream is to see every big dream become a reality.
Okay,
that's my
I think maybe if I ask you about the dream, it's more broad, but let me ask you about goals. Do you have any goals that that are in your timeline, at least in the time frame from now till a certain period of time that you actually want to achieve?
Oh, okay. So that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you an answer that you are not expecting. My short-term goals, my long-term goals, every goal that I then set is really just the same, really.
Yeah.
Is to work in purpose. However, to then be direct for you and the viewers,
yeah,
I am going to say right now I am working on expanding my company. The goal is by 2027 to have presence in all 10 provinces, and by 2029 to have presence in every district. That's the aim, and the reason is simple. I think a lifetime is a long time. We shouldn't give ourselves small projects.
Yeah.
We should give ourselves big projects. So I'm in the foundational phase. My goal right now is to increase my capacity and reach in preparation for harvest.
Sure.
They say you sow first, then there's harvest. So right now we are sowing. There are a few things that I had been doing and that I'm concluding hopefully by the end of this year or next year. I wanted a strong backbone, a strong backbone, something that at least I knew to say, if I decide to pursue other things full time, at least I'll have a place to fall on.
Yeah.
That's what I was working on. And in working on that, I think I have gotten somewhere now. So I even got to a point where I stopped my job. I'm pursuing my stuff full time.
Yeah.
So my goals in the next 5 years is to increase my reach and capacity. So I'm trying to, like I said, go to all the districts in the country, starting from the provinces, and then the districts, to prepare for now whatever will become. And then secondly, I'm trying to develop influence. You know, influence is the new currency. If someone can buy into you, or if you can invest into human capital, then you're always going to be set for life. I always say life is people. So for me, I'm trying to reach as many people as possible, as many people with potential as possible, so that maybe then we can influence each other in one way or another. So I plan to go to all corners of the country. I plan to set up my business, my company in all corners of the country. I plan to see youths from all corners of the country. I plan to see potential in leadership from all corners of the country. For me, my goal right now is just to expand my reach. For the next 5 years, I think I'm concentrating on building capacity and building value, as it may be. So everything I do is really just heading to that.
So ladies and gentlemen, this is the Change Your Perspective podcast, and today's episode is brought to you by Shed Society. So they share the dopest sheds. I feel like, you guys are admiring how I'm looking. So yeah, Shed Society, I'm going to put details here, and get yourself some sheds. Life is too short not to wear cool sheds. Yeah.